All right,
Yeah.
let's get this party started. All right, let's get started. If you have any, all right, sure. All right, so if you have any questions going through this, let me know. This is very basic. I'm going through the basics of charting. We're gonna go over VWAP, MACD, RSI, and the patterns, and how these three tie in together, and how you can use them in sync in what order as well. So here we go. All right, so the different patterns that we're gonna go over today. We're going to go over the bull flag, some bullish pennants, head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders, and what those are and what those mean. So let's get rolling on that. All right.
No. Can you also cover hammer?
All right. So the bull flag. So we could see a few here. So we'll do this one here. I hear dishes. All right. So a bull. Who was that?
Odie.
All right. I tried server muting. It's not working. All right. So bull flag. A bull flag is at least three green candles flagging up together like this. All right. So you have your one, we wait for confirmation. And if this starts to come, then it's a good time to start looking at it getting in. Okay. Don't be afraid of the following candle after that, because you can see that it continued that bullish upward movement. Right. And each one of these candles represents 15 minutes. So you have to be patient. Okay. That's an hour, half hour. That's an hour altogether. So you got to be patient. But this is a bull flag. Okay. You see another one here. Right. And we'll go over how to tie that in to the other indicators to be able to properly read what is going on here. Okay. Any questions about the bull flag?
So if you see there's another bull flag at the right,
Over here?
a little to the left.
This one?
Yeah. So these three are also the same, right? They are also seems to be bull flag, but after that it becomes like goes down.
Yeah, you need to watch. So after the completion of a bull flag, you need to go check the RSI, go check the VWAP, and you got to look at the MACD to confirm. We'll go over that later. But
it's just one factor to consider when you want to enter, but you should also be looking at other factors.
Right, but this can complete the bull flag, right? It's done now. It went from down here and it reached here, right? So that bull flag's finished. It could continue up, but you need to check your indicators, right? Because then you see a slight decline here, right?
Got it.
All right, so next we have a head and shoulders. All right, so you see here it goes up, comes down. There's a shoulder. There's the head. Comes back down. There's another shoulder. Okay, and it comes and it drops. A head and shoulders typically comes right before a drop. Right, it comes down. Okay, now you can see this, but inverted. Right, so if you flip this upside down, it'll be like shoulder, head, start folding another shoulder, and then go up, right? So this is a head and shoulders. Okay, you can find these on any time frame for the doji candles. Okay, so it could be this is 15 minutes, right? But it could be a 1 minute, it could be a day, it could be a weekly head and shoulders, that kind of thing. If you're into the longer swings and want to try to predict movement for like next week or whatever, right? Any questions about head and shoulders?
Can you explain one more time, please?
Yeah, so head and shoulders, you'll see the movement where it's up, and then it dips back down. That's a shoulder, and then here's the head. Okay, it comes down, and then it comes up to finish the other shoulder, and it's then followed by this drop, head and shoulders.
Is it usually the M only, or is it W as well?
Well, so you see the M, right? If it's a W, it's the opposite. It'll go up, typically followed by an uptrend.
Okay.
Yeah. This is an M or a head and shoulders. This is which is going down, and then an inverse is up. All right. You can see a bigger head and shoulders here. So you have a shoulder, head, shoulder, and it's followed by the drop, right? Okay. All right. Let's go to the next one. This is a bull pennant, right? Where you can clearly draw into our trend lines and see a bullish pennant. Now, this doesn't always get followed by an uptrend, but this is also a wedge, right? It's just a smaller wedge, but typically, this is a bull pennant. You can get the same thing with a bear flag, right? This is super bullish right here throughout the day, and then it broke out after hours, right? So what might have been happening is a lot of people were shorting Boeing, right? And then once they couldn't short after hours, it shot up. All that downward pressure released, and it came up. Okay. This is a pretty common pattern, right? There's another one right here, right? See that? Another bull pennant. It's typically, you said bull pennant. It's typically leaning toward the ascending on the chart, going up. There's one more. The next slide. Here's another one. Another bull pennant. Right? You can clearly make a triangle here. A pennant or like a flag. Up it goes. All right. Any questions about the pennant? No? Okay. All right. MACD. So MACD is one of the last indicators I look at, but it's kind of like driving, right? So when you're driving, you're looking left, looking right, looking forward. Your eyes are always kind of scanning the road. So the chart is your road while you're driving the trade, right? So the first thing you do is when you look forward, that would be your VWAP. And then you look to the side, and then that's checking your RSI and then your MACD. Okay, the MACD confirms what you feel like you're seeing happening. Okay, so we'll go over that. Get an example here. So here we have this highlighted portion. Okay, so right here you see the blue line is the MACD, the yellow line is the signal line. Okay, so you can see that the MACD is crossing the signal. And then at the cross, it goes up because whenever it crosses upwards, you're looking at it, it's becoming bullish, right? So this right here is what you see. It's reflected right here, right? Okay, so it's going up, right? When the MACD crosses the signal line going down, this is what you see here, right? So if you start to see like this candle, and let's say VWAP is right here, it's bouncing off VWAP or whatever. And then you're looking at RSI, maybe it's at like 80. You come over here, and if this is starting to point down, it's confirming that we're starting to see a downtrend, and you'd probably sell on one of these two candles here, right? So, but you wouldn't sell. So like this is on the way up, right? So this is probably still heading up even on this red candle here. This one and this one is probably still pointing up, right? So right above that, you start to see the incline, right? At the very this is where you would buy. Right here, right? You'd wait for something like this. And on this cross, boom, buying, holding, right? And then you see it starting to dip back down is when you would sell because it's coming down, right? And it came all the way back down, okay? Any questions about the MACD on this chart?
Yeah, Thomas, a question. What is the signal actually? Signal of what? What is it signalizing there?
So the signal line, I'm not sure how the signal line is calculated, but you want to be watching the yellow line, right? Because if this MACD blue line crosses it in the upward motion or upward movement, it's signaling an uptrend, right? So I'm not sure how the signal's calculated itself, but what's important is that you know that the MACD is playing with it all day long, and an upward cross is going to be bullish. And with it coming back down, it'll indicate that it'll confirm your thinking of, I think it's coming back down, right? So you probably would have sold right here, right? Because you see that downward trend. All right.
The MACD is an average over how many days, or is it the one?
MACD is calculated by subtracting the 26 period exponential moving average,
Yep.
the 12 period exponential moving average.
Yeah, it's the different day moving averages here, right? But it's the moving average convergence divergence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm looking. It says the result of that calculation is the MACD line, right? A 9-day EMA of the MACD called the signal line is then plotted on top of the MACD line, which can function as a trigger for buy and sell signals.
Yep. So this is really useful, and I'm going to tie this in with the other two indicators that I use later on. But let's go to the next one. RSI. We went over RSI before. Oh shit. We went over RSI before, but we will cover it again for the sake of tying everything in. Okay. So RSI, it measures the momentum of a stock. It's going to tell you if it's been overbought or oversold, right? It measures the strength, right? If it's healthy, unhealthy, or neutral. So a stock that typically has more buyers than sellers will need a downward correction and then kind of even itself out on its way up, right? So it's the same thing for too many sellers. There's got to correct back up. So RSI, healthy RSI is anywhere between 40 and 55. Anything below 40, I would start looking at getting into the stock or buying some calls, depending on what chart you're looking on. I look at the 15-minute. And then overbought RSI is 70 plus, right? You need to start looking at getting rid of your position at that time. Not at 70 though. I let my RSI get up to like 90, and then 95 RSI and above. It goes to it can go to 100, but it's not likely. I'll start buying puts. All right, so let's look at the chart. So you see here, it's highlighted portion, right? So you can kind of see how the RSI coincides with the MACD as well. This RSI is the second thing you check behind the VWAP. We're watching the VWAP, right? So you see that it became oversold, right? It's way over 70. This line right here equals 70. This line right here equals 30. So it's probably approaching the 90s area, maybe a little higher. I know right here is probably touching 100 almost. 100's the max from what I've seen. So when it becomes overbought, okay, which is up here, you see this downward trend here. And then this right here represents this. So this confirms that if a stock becomes overbought, right, it's gonna sell off a little bit, and then it's going to come back to reality. Okay, this is why I was advising getting puts on Facebook, because the RSI is through the roof, and it was trading way above VWAP. Okay, but it broke fundamentals based on some hype and some news. So, all right, and then right here you see that it broke the 30, so it's due for a correction back up, and that's exactly what it did. So it broke the 30, right, and it corrected itself and came back up, and then it broke again, tapped on the 30, double tap there, and then it came back up for a correction. So that's how the RSI is measured, and that's what it's for. Okay, it's kind of like a warning indicator, like, hey, I'm approaching, we're in the 90s, it's getting real hot in here. It's time to release some pressure, and that's when you want to dip and get ready to rebuy again after it drops. Any questions about RSI? I know we've gone over that before. No? Okay. VWAP. Never matter. All right. VWAP, it stands for volume weighted average price. So it's the current average price that is being held at the moment for your chart, right? So you want to, here, I'll just explain it over here. So you want to watch the VWAP, right? Because breaking the average price going up can result in something like this. But if you're continually coming down, you tap it, and you can't come back up, there's going to be a sell-off, which you see here. And it came back up to play with the VWAP again, and it taps it. It wants to break through. This is pretty bullish right here, and it did, but it couldn't sustain. It's holding, it's tapping, and it came back down. So this is the average price that's currently being held, okay? And then right here, you see it's like playing with VWAP, and it broke through, which right here is a breakout from breaking VWAP. And then it's oversold, right? And the indicator is telling us right here, it's going up, right? But then the indicator turned, started to dive, which is going to confirm what we're thinking about touching VWAP again. And we're also going to compare that right here to an oversold area, right? Or overbought. Then it came back up, played with it. If it does this, I'm looking at selling because VWAP can be used as a support. Breaking support again, right? So that's how the VWAP line's used. So this is the first thing you want to be watching when day trading or flipping options or scalping options, right? So this is the first indicator. Do you have any questions about the VWAP?
Is VWAP similar to like the lines that we draw for corrections? I mean, you have these lines that you draw saying that from this line to this line it's bullish and now it's time for correction.
No, VWAP is a moving indicator that's calculated on average price. So
Okay.
it's a study that I added to my chart. You have to add it.
Volume weighted average price.
Right. And so
Okay.
this moves all on its own, and I just watch it go along with all the candlesticks. And I watch to see if it's going to break. Because the volume weighted average price is kind of like a magnet. See how everything just follows VWAP? It traded way above VWAP. Time to come back down. Came too far down, going back up. Okay. This line's going to stay here as this comes down because that's still the volume weighted average price. Then you're going to see a spike like this when a lot of people are buying. It reaches an oversold area, see, or overbought. See, that's how it moved the VWAP. Now it's trading lower, and there's a huge oversell, right? VWAP correction, and it comes back up. So VWAP makes it life easier, right? And so we're going to go into later how to use the VWAP in accordance with, or in coordination with MACD and RSI.
So one more question.
Okay.
All of these, basically the indicators that you have shown, they will actually start plotting once the action has been done, or will it be at the same time when the action is being done?
It's all done at the same. It's all simultaneous.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
I mean like with the candlesticks itself I'm talking about. So say VWAP with the candlestick. Will the VWAP be done as soon as the drop is happening, or only once the drop is done the VWAP will plot?
No, the VWAP plots itself as the stock moves.
Okay.
It's all automatic, simultaneous with the stock.
Essentially, those are real time plots.
Yeah, this is real time.
Yeah, VWAP's real time, right?
Yeah.
Ticket, the VWAP
Yeah.
follows.
Yeah, yep, it's real time.
One
So,
question.
do you have any questions about VWAP? We're going to go into how they all tie together, and maybe it'll make more sense if you're still kind of lost.
Now, does this work?
So how do they all work
mainly
together, right? So the first
the
thing I like to
specific
check is
timeframe?
VWAP, since that's like, that one doesn't lag like RSI might or MACD might, but I use the other two to tell me if I'm reading VWAP correctly. Okay, so the first thing you'll look at Oops. Oh, that's right. I'm going to go back to this chart. The first thing you're going to look at, if I'm watching this, let's say we're trading right here. Let's pretend that this is not after hours. I'm trading right here. We'll start from the beginning. All right. So I'm watching these bull flags here. This one right here would have been a buy signal, but I'm going to go over here. Okay. So I think I'm going to buy here. Let's look at the let's look at the RSI. RSI at this point was neutral. That's good. And then I'm going to look at the MACD. So the MACD just crossed the signal line. Yep, I'm going to buy. All right, I bought it. I got the calls. I just printed fresh tendies. And I'm like, shit, am I going to sell for them? Am I going to realize these tendies? And I'm going to say, okay, so I got a red candle. I got a red candle coming. Let's look. Oh, RSI is oversold. Okay. Or overbought. Okay. What about MACD? Oh, MACD is starting to dip. Yeah, I'm going to print tendies and I'll come back later. And it came down, right? So watch the VWAP once again, right? We'll come over here. Okay. So am I going to buy right here? Am I jumping in? I'll come check the RSI. At that time, it was neutral. Okay, yeah, I like it. Oh, and the signal line, it's bouncing off the signal line. Okay. All right, yeah, I'm going to buy. I like what it looks like. And here we go. It's coming up, right? And then I'm looking, okay, this is trading a little bit above VWAP. Am I starting to see it? Am I going to see a correction here? So I'm going to look. I'll come down to RSI. Oh, yeah, it's going to correct. It's going to correct. I see the RSI is overbought, right? And it looks like I'm getting a down slope on the MACD, about to touch that signal line again. I'm coming out, okay? And then same thing here, right? You got to look here, confirm what you're thinking in RSI, right? And then look at the MACD, see if it's going to cross the signal line or bounce off of it with the trend and jump in, okay? Does that make sense? How they kind of tie in together?
So we're buying when those are up, when the green candles are, that's the indicator to buy when the ISL is leveled at between 30 and 70, and then the candle is green.
Yeah, so you're gonna look for your patterns, right? The patterns. Okay, am I forming a bull flag? Am I getting a bull flag here? Because this type of candle right here shows lots of upward pressure, shows lots of downward pressure, and as soon as that selling pressure releases, you're gonna get this kind of thing, right? Okay, this is a green candle, but I still see it as kind of bearish because there's more selling pressure than there is buying pressure, pushing this candle down and putting the majority of that volume on the selling end, right? It's still going up in price on the way down, right? Which is good for the company, for the stock, but it's not good for us to hold, okay? And then we're gonna then go to the next candle, right? Where this one is red, a lot more outflow, right? So you got to watch your patterns, right? In accordance or in coordination with your indicators here, okay? So you got to so it's all to confirm your theory, okay? What do I think is going on? Okay, now it's like, okay, now I want to confirm what I'm thinking about what's going on using some indicators. You could be completely wrong, right? But at least you have the tools to lower your chances of getting totally wrecked, okay? Because everything's fundamentals. This is all just like some genius math stuff, you know, some freaking MIT, Harvard geniuses got together and wanted to make their life easier on the stock market, and now it's available to everyone here, right? So so we're watching the dojis, candles. All right, is this what I think is it? Is this what I think it is? I'm gonna look right here. Yep. This is healthy RSI for the movement I'm looking for. The MACD is trending up, bouncing off the signal line. I'm gonna buy, okay? But then this is only 30, 45 minutes later. You're like, okay, am I selling? I crossed the VWAP, but I had a hard time breaking through. I better check. Yep, trending down, way overbought. Okay, time to sell, right? So that's how you use those together. And
If you don't mind, can you explain something about what is the upward pressure and downward pressure?
yeah, so upward pressure is a lot of people trying to get in, right? It's like Walmart on Black Friday. Okay, people are trying to get into the store. Okay, a lot of people are trying to get into Boeing right here, right? People are pushing up because they want in. People are pushing up because they want in. Right here, people are pushing up. But on the other side of the wick, this other wick on the candle, you have a lot of pushing down. People are trying to get out, right? So it's like, so in this candle, you can say, okay, I'm going Black Friday shopping at Walmart. I'm trying to get in. But you don't know that Walmart is on fire and then everyone's trying to get out and you're fighting to get in and out of this thing. And if there's more downward pressure, this will release, the buyers will release, cool off a little bit, and then the sellers will win, right? But it looks like here people tried to push back in again and then they won, and now it's going up, right? But there's some downward pressure. This is a very thin, low volume candle, right? Volume dropped. So that's what downward pressure and upward pressure is. Downward pressure is pushing the stock down because there's more sellers than buyers. Upward pressure is pushing the stock up because there's more buyers than sellers.
So at what point do you say that like it might break out?
Pushing above the VWAP. See, breakout, because it's towing with VWAP. It's toying with it. It's like, oh shit. You know, it's like, because whenever you break VWAP up, you're typically going to break out for a minute. Whenever you break VWAP down, right? Because it keeps bouncing off. This had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 tries to get past VWAP, and people just said, okay, screw it, and it's going back down because it couldn't break VWAP. But it came to this area where it was completely oversold, and it was a healthy time to buy, and a lot of people bought, right? So you watch this, like if you take this and over away, what would you see? What would you see if you took this green candle and everything this way and you didn't look at it? You'd probably be scared to buy because you're like, oh shit, that's a downward movement. But for me, I'm going to look at the RSI. Okay, shit, it's on VWAP, it's oversold, and MACD's on an upward trend. I want in. Okay, that's why I would buy right here. Because then it goes whoop up, right? But then you got to watch. Because here it comes back down. Because it was oversold or overbought in the overbought area, right? It's in the higher end of the healthy range. And then MACD is coming back down as it's toying with reality or the VWAP. Okay, couldn't break it, boom. Couldn't break it up, boom. Couldn't break it, and it's following. I broke it, but I touched it. As soon as it comes down with a touch, it's time to sell or time to start thinking about it. Because if it doesn't bounce off of it and up, it's just going to come below the line like it did here. Now it's trading well below VWAP right here. Okay.
So what we're looking at is really not the actual bar on the candle, but the lines at the top and the bottom to indicate the pressure.
Yeah, so the candle part here is volume.
Okay.
The wick on the top are sells. The wick at the bottom are buys, pushing in between, right? So a lot of buys here in that volume. A lot of buys here with some selling. Big candle, a lot of buys here. Whoop. Right? But these are prices that aren't so when it's thinner like this, there's volume pushing up. This right here are the average prices in the candle. These are the lowest prices that didn't have a lot of volume. Right? But it can tell you that either it's being pushed down or pushed up. But I personally just like use candles as just a way to have VWAP, right? It's kind of like the guy who like eats pizza just so he can eat ranch. You know what I mean? Like the guy, you know what I, so it's like, I'm going to have the candles flowing so that VWAP works, right? So I can understand what VWAP's doing. I'm not looking at the candles as much as I'm looking at VWAP, RSI, and MACD, right? Because the candles in my mind, it's just second nature now looking at them. So it's like, yeah, like look at this. Like I just look right here. This is a bull pennant. Cross line here, cross line here. It's a big old flag, right? That pennant's such a winner that I think it spells Patriots in there somewhere. And then it's going to shoot up, right? This gap up right here. Not even any, it just went straight up here. There was no buying in between. It just, boom, I want in, right? So anyway, that's how those work together. And that's how you can use these tools to your advantage to read the charts and stuff. Do you have any more questions about that?
So
I have a question, Thomas. Oh, all right. Sorry. Somewhere else between.
What?
Can I shoot my? I have a question about the RSI and related to, as you hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So I mean, I have some doubt about the RSI, or there is always this this FOMO once we see the RSI touching over 90 or 95.
It's time to buy puts at that point.
No. Let's say we have a call, okay, and
Yeah.
we're hitting the 95, and it happens that the RSI keeps on, for I don't know, for let's say 10 seconds, 20 seconds, hitting the 95 or even the 100. It's keeps flat on the top. So you don't want to get out from that trade because it's the volatility plays a role and the spread is better. So you don't want to miss out, right?
I don't care if I miss out if I'm printing tendies.
Okay, actually, that's my question. When you hit that maximum RSI at that range,
Would you rather be safe or would you rather be broke?
Yeah, that's what do you look at that moment?
Thomas,
So
I think what he's getting at is the RSI doesn't necessarily say how much profit you're going to make, though. That's just telling you what the market's doing. Because what's going to make your profit is what you bought in at.
That's why you buy in at low. That's why you buy in at low and you sell it at high.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but do you really sell your calls immediately once the RSI is hit the top? Do you do that?
Because if it's maxed out, right, you're going to run out of gas and you got to come back down and fuel up. And I don't want to hold it through this because I don't want to hold very long. I mean, obviously everything goes back up eventually, but you don't know when, right? So if it's maxed out up here, I'm going to go ahead and press the print button, turn the printer on, and back out of that trade until it's time to get back in. Right?
Okay, good.
Like if I go ahead.
Yeah, I think it would be safe to say that these are good fundamentals, right? RSI, MACD, and whatnot, VWAP, they're good fundamentals. I think what the gentleman that was asking the question is, there are other outside indicators that would one would consider, let's say, some catalysts of some sort.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, which is different from fundamentals.
I think to kind of answer this question too, to answer your question too, is like I've seen Tesla ride 99 RSI for a week straight. Right? Like it just wouldn't come down. Exactly. This thing is climbing, but it is so overbought. I don't know why anyone was touching it because it could have crashed at any time. And we did see it crash after earnings. It took a nosedive after earnings, even though earnings were good, but it was so overspent, it had to come down, right? So these are fundamentals, okay? These are what will help you win more often, but they're not a guarantee because you don't know what other people are thinking, right? You can't read the mind of the other millions of traders looking at this now, right? So, but you can use the fundamentals to protect yourself, right? Or to give yourself an opportunity to get in. Because I've also seen stocks that have been cruising at like 2 RSI for like hours. So oversold. But that was breaking fundamentals. Not everything follows fundamentals, but in this case here, it's safe to assume, and we've proven that the fundamentals can protect you, right? And they can set you up.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah, but it's all up to your personal risk tolerance.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're willing to hold longer because you want to be a little bit more frisky, then you can. Where my risk tolerance is very low, and I like to exit positions when I read this stuff, and I have found that I'm more profitable doing it that way, staying safe right? I'd rather make $20 than lose the $20, right? So I'll take whatever. If I start to see some weird movement that's telling me maybe I should just exit this trade real quick and get back in later.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So based on what is being said, I think that RSI by itself wouldn't be the indicator to sell,
Exactly.
but RSI and MACD, with the MACD starting to trend down, would be an indicator to get out, because it could still be going up and MACD would still be above the trend line, but RSI could be oversold.
Right.
But your MACD is still saying, hey, we can stay in. It's still going up, i.e. Apple yesterday, in the way that it completely was breaking out and being oversold at the same time, but it continued to go up for quite a while. But we all knew that it was going to come down.
Exactly. Yeah, good point. Yeah, all these are used in conjunction together, right? Watch the VWAP. Look at
I
RSI.
wasn't watching Apple, but I bet the VWAP was like way lower than what, like how you said.
Yeah, it's probably like this. Same
Yeah,
with
exactly.
Facebook. Facebook saw the same shit,
Yeah,
where it was like
Facebook
way up here, but the
Facebook
VWAP
brought
was
them in.
down here. The VWAP didn't have time to catch up. One of these days, probably Monday, Facebook's another reality check, and it'll come back down and then go back up, right? Like, I have no doubt that Facebook's worth $300 a share. Like, I've got no doubt about it. But it takes time to get there. It's steady growth, right? But yeah, everything is used together. You can't use RSI alone. I actually tried that once using RSI alone, where I'd buy a call at 30 and then I'd sell it at 90. And then when it hit over 90, buy puts. It was working for a second. I was like, no, I need to use the other indicators too. Just kind of test out RSI by on its own and to see what it's all about. But that didn't. You got to use the other indicators with it. You do. And MACD is so important. It's the most undervalued indicator in the market, I think. It really is. Other people using like all these fancy like oscillators and all these other like I think MACD is just so important, right? It just tells the whole story, and you can chart MACD too. So
which average has your RSI? How many days are you put?
So I look at the 14-day RSI when I'm trading bigger stocks like Boeing.
So right now it's set on 14 days, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And it still show quick reactions.
Oh yeah. You can use RSI 2 if you want, but then you're going to see this.
Too, yeah.
You're going to see all this. You're going to see like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
This still
Makes me
updates.
nervous.
This still updates real time, even though it's RSI 14. It's just the average over 14 days.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Great.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And
of course.
the one second, just the last one. There is some people, they swear on this Bollinger charts.
Bollinger Bands.
Yeah, Bollinger. Sorry,
You can add Bollinger Bands to your VWAP. I don't, because there's a band up here, there's a band down here.
Yeah.
It kind of shows like support, resistance on both ends, and like the median is VWAP. I think that's just a bunch of extra hocus pocus that I don't need to be using.
Yeah, I had them, but it was too much on the chart. So
It's too much. Yeah, my Webull, I have my Webull chart set up with the Bollinger Bands, but I haven't found it useful because I can't even see what's going on. There's so much color on the screen. So, but
okay, thanks.
yeah, of course. All right. Any more questions?
One dumb question. What exactly is a support and a resistance, and how do you figure out when is it going to break versus not? And how do you say that, okay, this is the support and resistance, it broke out, and this is going to be the new support and resistance?
Okay, so the first support you can say is your VWAP, right? That's the first one. So it's a small one. That's the first one. But you got to take so I like to take the average, right? I like to draw a line that's kind of like in the middle of the downs and the ups, right? So like right here, and I'll say, okay, that's my support. And then for resistance, I usually choose the high of day, because that's typically if that's the high of day and it can't break it, that's typically what's being resisted, right? Showing resistance. But this right here, I like to use this. I like to draw straight in the middle. Boom. Okay, that's what I'm going to use as my support, right? And then I'll also use the VWAP too. So typically when you draw in the middle, VWAP's trading above it, obviously. So then I'll use this first. But I mainly just watch the VWAP. So it's like if it touches and it doesn't go up, it doesn't bounce off of the VWAP, you're going to see downtrend. See? Touch, 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 boom. Right? But then touch, up.
You can draw as well a line on the top, no, Thomas? So that will be the support, actually. The resistance, sorry. On the right side, go right, a bit to the right.
Over here?
And then you have the three, exactly. That one and second and third.
There's lots of resistance there.
Yeah,
resistance. And right here, see, look, same resistance right
that's
here.
what I'm saying. The three,
Yeah, you can use that. Yeah.
I don't know if it's
but
later.
Your broker, like Thinkorswim, you can go to the studies and you can have your program here put its own theories on support and resistance, and it'll put lines like resistance 2, resistance 1, pivot point, support 1, support 2, and you can just kind of watch that. I don't like all that nonsense on them. I'm a minimalist. I like to keep everything simple and clean, but you can use those. It's resistance 1 would be like up here, resistance 2 would be the next line, and then a pivot point or VWAP really, and then support 1 and then support 2. So it'll program and calculate all that for you if you want. But like I said, I like to keep my shit clean. I like to be able to see what's going on. I don't want all these extra lines and rainbows and ponytails on my chart.
So if I may, regarding resistance, and correct me if I'm wrong, the first thing is you have to back out to a larger time frame, like 5 days or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you draw an imaginary line between all of the tops and all of the bottoms. The tops being resistance, because that's where the stock is getting up to and then bouncing back down, and the bottom being support, meaning it gets down to this point and then goes back up. And that imaginary line, which you on some of the brokers you can actually draw in there if you can't visualize it yourself.
Right, exactly.
You use that to know where to buy in at if you're buying
right.
But you have to watch the other indicators, because that it can break through resistance and then run down, or break through our resistance, run up, support, it would run down. So if it breaks through, that would be an indicator that it's going to run down for a while,
right?
Together with the other indicators.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, no, having like a mental support resistance number is important, right? But I like to use VWAP since I'm scalping. I'm trading very fast. Like the trade yesterday with Boeing was like 11 minutes. Like that's pretty quick, right? So I use the VWAP, and I mean this is my support here. I use this as my support and pivot line and all that. It's also resistance at 1.2, like resisting. See, I couldn't break it, so it came down, right? So, but if you're a longer term trader, right? If you're swing trading or you're looking at like going into a couple of weeks, and you want to know like where you should set your stop losses and everything like that, then I recommend pulling out the bigger chart. This is PowerPoint, so I can't zoom on the chart. It's just a picture. But I recommend backing out, looking at the bigger picture, like do the 1 hour candles over like 50 days or something, and then kind of like map out what you're seeing. Zoom out, take a look at the bigger picture. This is extremely close up looking at it under a microscope with these 15-minute candles, right? So, but if that's what you're into in those swing trading and stuff, then yeah, back it out. But I trade on average of like probably anywhere between 13 and 15 minutes I'm in and out.
Hey Thomas, so is there a reason? So like for scalp trading, is there a reason why you keep the RSI at 14 and not like within the week itself or something?
Well, 14 is the most common.
Okay.
RSI 2 is a freaking dumpster fire,
Mm-hmm.
and then anything longer doesn't work for me. So I found that 14 really is my cup of tea.
Okay.
When it comes to
because I know that's the default in there, but I just didn't know why.
It's what I've come accustomed to. It's what everyone in my family uses. Whenever I've asked about RSI in particular, they just use RSI 14, right? There's no special settings for MACD other than I chose the one that shows the prices. right? So this middle line is the gray, and then you have the blue, which is the current price, right? And then represents the signal. So, but anyway, that's what I do. I use, it's pretty fundamental. It's pretty basic, but I mean, you don't want to get too fancy, right? So
Yeah.
Did you enter here, call Thomas?
yeah.
And in that chart, can you just go through it? If you still remember your thought process, just quickly.
Yeah.
What you saw, so you said, okay, let's jump in. Just one sequence, if you could.
You want me to go through this again? Is that what you're saying?
No, just on Friday you did. This is Friday chart, right?
No, I don't know what chart this is. I just kept scrolling.
Then forget it. Okay.
Yeah. I just kept scrolling until I found something that was representing a really good RSI, MACD, and candlesticks and VWAP. I was just going through everything, and I wanted it. Yeah, and I wanted it to be Boeing since we're all playing Boeing right now. Yeah, I just scoured the charts, and I think it was like this is probably back like before the pandemic. Really, I just kept scrolling until I could find something that had everything in it. So
Okay, we can move on.
All right. Well, questions or anything else?
So do we we have to kind of alter our own charts to have all those things in it, or
It's all personal preference for sure. Yeah, and you have to make these settings. Here, let me see something. Let me see something. Let's see. Let me go to Thinkorswim, Discord. Go to my handy dandy play account I've been using with you guys. Let's get that up. Go live. All right. So you like over here, right? How far did I go? I don't even know how far I went. Pretty far. Okay. Okay. Oops. Okay. So for Thinkorswim, I'll go to studies, right? I'll go to add study, and I'll go find what I want. But you have a lot of options, right? Tons of moving averages. Got tons of momentum studies, right? Look at all those momentum studies. Right? They have the awesome oscillator. Like, what the hell? Like, I'm not. It's weird. And then, like, some people use it. I don't know. They have this TTM squeeze, which I'm supposed to look at, and a scalper alert. I need to look at those. I haven't tried them yet. They're arrows. Buy, sell. Gotcha. Huh. Cool. Anyway, there's tons of stuff you can add, right? So, I don't want that right now. So there's lots of stuff that you can do, but you have to customize your chart to what you want and what you like, right? You can copy me if you want, but if you want to like try their stuff out and see what works for you, go for it. But if you're interested, I use MACD, RSI 14 and I use the 15-minute candles over 5 days. Any other questions?
I have to go back and study those candle charts.
Yeah. Go look at go open your chart and look at the candle. Like, look, bull flag. You know what I mean? Like, go take a look at it, or bear flag. Look, bear flag, bull flag. So like, go chart. Go play with your trend lines. Go play with your fancy drawing tools and stuff. You know, like just go get accustomed to everything, right? So like, there's this one. I like to pick the recent high of day. I like to pick a low of day, and then the next high, and I'm getting a trend here, right? Looks pretty accurate. That's the channel it's in. So, but anyway, yeah, you just got to go figure out what you like personally. I'm here to help you figure out what to help understand what those things that you might like more are, right? So but if you want to copy me, this is the setup.
I do have a question though. So I want to start soon.
All
But
right.
I don't think I want to do your 15-minute trade because that is like,
Yeah, I trade really quick.
yeah, I'm not that.
And I think that everyone that played with me last week, we traded Boeing 3 or 4 times, and so they all got those quick trades in as well.
I know. I was on every call looking at every live looking at you guys. It was exciting.
It was.
But what if you wanted to do a call or put for like a week out? Can you look at a chart that would help you do that, or is this really just?
You'd have to have a really good reason, right? If I'm buying a call a week out, I'm still selling it same day. Like that's just how I am. But
Okay.
if you want to buy a call, what?
I bought some HMHC calls like a month out. It's,
Do
it
you
was
chart that, or do you just?
So
no,
if
I don't
you're-
chart it.
So if you are buying calls like far out, it's because you know for sure that you're going to see that company shoot up or go hit your strike price, because you have to know something's coming. So for example, like let's say like 6 months from now, or like right now, right? We know Apple is releasing the iPhone 12 in September. Okay, I'm going to go buy calls on Apple for mid-September. Does that make sense? Or it's like I know that the United States is going to catch on fire, everyone's going to die, and everyone is going to become cavemen. It's like, okay, I'm going to buy puts on SPY 6 months from now, and then I'm going to, you know what I mean?
Or
Like
election for example.
Elections.
hold on.
But okay, Thomas, you have to admit you know Boeing by heart, so I think
Yeah, boy.
everyone will develop kind of a favorite stock which you will scalp.
You need exactly. Yeah, go find. Are you saying go find your
find
favorite stock?
something?
Yeah. Go find what you like. Like if your shit is Lululemon, let's go get it. The reason I like Boeing so much is because it's made me so much money, and I'm gonna stick with it, right? The reason why I hate Apple and I'll never touch it again is because it took a lot of money, right? I got totally destroyed by it.
Oh my god,
It's
that
like,
was
I have all their
a big Wall
products.
Street bet.
I have all their products, and I gave my money to them. Like,
Good morning, everyone.
Yo,
But-
good morning.
I'm just
But at the
getting
same
here.
time, somebody else has probably made a shit ton of money on Apple. It's all in what you're in.
exactly. Yep. 100%. It's what you know. That's why I don't. People were like, "Well, are you going to do anything other than Boeing?" No. Why would I? I don't know anything else. I mean, I do, but it's like I don't want to leave where I'm comfortable, right?
Right.
Another one I'm really comfortable with is SPY. I'm really, really good with SPY. Lately, I haven't been touching it because it's breaking fundamentals too. Like it did, so we didn't get a deal for the stimulus check, which I was assuming would have lowered SPY below 330 again into support, but we went up instead. Look at that gap up. Oh, sorry, you're not even looking at my screen. Whatever. Anyway, so it went straight up. So, oh yeah, so Tony pointed out in the premium chat. So, like, he bought a lot of distant calls on Workhorse because it's a very, very good chance that they're getting the Postal Service contract to make all their new trucks, right? So, right. So he bought a lot of calls. What'd you spend, like 10 grand on calls, Tony, and shares? He spent a lot of money prepping for this play, and it's probably going to pay off. And I'm in Workhorse now too. I was showing you yesterday that I sold 2 put contracts for some fresh tendies, and then I will sell them again if it doesn't print on Friday, right? $170,000 in shares. Okay. Yeah, so he's really invested in Workhorse. So I might call my account manager for my actual account and tell him to start loading up on some Workhorse if he hasn't already. I haven't looked at it for a while. But Workhorse is a strong company. I've been watching them for a while. So that's a good example of like I'm going to buy some long calls, some leaps on Workhorse, right? And if you're on this call and you're listening still, I recommend you guys getting into it and holding it, right? I'm working my way into it. I'm selling puts to get in because I want to make money on the way in. I'm doing the triple income wheel on Workhorse. But I recommend getting in if you can, right? I think Smith, the other analyst, his nickname is Gay Bear, which means he totally sucks at shorting Apple. He bought like, I think, a few hundred shares of Workhorse. So anyway, yeah, thanks for coming to this class. If you guys don't have any more questions about the charting, I recommend when you have time this weekend, looking at the chart, setting up your charts, getting more familiar. If you want, I can try to figure out how to pin these slides I made, these slides to the premium message chat, and then
just post it in the frequently asked questions and resources.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. And then our boy recording specialist, he has recorded this session, so that video will be uploaded to YouTube, and that link will be posted or pinned in the premium chat as well. But again, I appreciate you guys coming. Go ahead.
Can I ask one last question before?
Yeah.
How often do you do live trading, like on the live stream trading?
I did it every day this week because I had a lot of fun with it. But I'm gonna be busy. I might be able to do it Monday. I cannot Tuesday because I'm going to the doctor and getting a steroid shot in my ass, and then I gotta go. And then and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'll be on the live stream. The week after that, I've got some out processing stuff I got to do. And then once I am completely out processed from the military, I'll be more accessible at that point too. So, but
me and Thomas gonna trade full time, baby.
Hi.
But anyway, well, thanks guys. I'm glad y'all came.
Thomas, I think I joined late, but did we cover
I
the
joined
covered
late.
calls? in
No,
the
I did
starting?
that. I did that yesterday.
Oh, okay. There is a session for the recording session for that too.
I'm not sure if that was recorded.
Okay, no worries. So
We'll go over that again soon. Okay.
Okay. I thought that. Okay, so I will look for this initial recording of the session then.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, man.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Just feel free to ask questions like about covered calls in the chat if we can't hop on the voice or whatever.
Hey Thomas, I have a question. Did we
Yeah.
cover the hammer thing?
The hammer candles?
Yeah.
No, I can point them out real quick. Those
Because
are,
I remember you were mentioning that the hammer and the inverted hammer indicates bullish and bearish pattern something.
yeah, so this is a hammer followed by
We're not
bullish.
seeing your screen.
Oh, my bad. I'm bad at that. Hold on. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that real quick. This is a hammer followed by some bullish candles, right? This is a hammer, but it wasn't followed until later. Here's the hammer. Let's see. Here's a hammer. Another hammer, though. This one followed a red. This is a hammer. Hammer up.
So how do you say what does a hammer do?
Hammer just represents a lot of people wanting to buy in and no people selling, which is going to create a bullish movement. As you can see here at the top, there's no wick on top for sellers. It's everyone buying and coming in, and then it's followed by more people getting in, which is kind of blowing up that way. But yeah, that's what a hammer looks like. They're small indicators, but they're not. They're small indicators, but they're not like they're not a sure shot, right? But you got what is a sure shot? The only sure shot you have are the three indicators I showed you guys. So
Okay, Thomas. Good morning, everyone. I'm just coming in, but I've been watching though. I have a question real quick before.
Yeah.
How do you enter a chart? How do you enter? I don't know if somebody already asked that.
how did I set it up?
Yeah, how do you enter to when you start buying? How do you get in? How do you know when to stop buying?
Oh, how do I know when to enter a trade?
Yeah, trade. Yeah.
Oh, so one, I know this stock like the back of my hand. Oh, not this one. I mean, I know this one, but let's go back to Boeing. Okay, so I'm gonna watch the indicators, right? So this right here, the RSI, or sorry, the VWAP, it's breaking VWAP, right? So in this 15 minute point of time, it's trying to break it. It does right here too. So I'm going to confirm, and I see that the MACD crossed the signal line, which means it's going to go up. But I probably would have been a little sketched out with this double top on the RSI, but I probably would have went in for it anyway because it's just going to break some fundamentals and then come back down, right? So it looks like for a couple hours it was above 90 RSI. So yeah, that's how I know to enter is the MACD, the VWAP, and the RSI all working together. I look at them all. But this is chart reading for this is 101, right? This is good basis for everyone, but primarily for people who want to scalp quick trades.
Right.
So, yep. All right. Well, any more questions? Just go ahead and throw them in the premium chat, and we will get to those. But I'm going to hop off here. And once again, I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
This will be recorded, so it'll be the link will be posted. But anyway, all right. Talk to you guys later.
Thanks so much.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Thomas.
Take care.
Thanks.